welcome back. We back, baby.
We did it.
We back it again.
In a new studio.
It's looking pretty fresh. Again, first of all, welcome back to Good Times with the Boys podcast. Today's going to be a good one.
Actually, it's not a new studio.
It's not a new studio. It's revamped. Okay, let's say that. So as you know, Germund Sewer Boy 1.
Kangsan Boy 2. We got a new boy in the house.
Oh, new boy in the house. Introducing the new boy.
Boy 3.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, my boy.
Boy 3 here, talking. Andrew Tulane.
Andrew Tulane. Welcome, Andrew. So I think we brought up Andrew before. Obviously, he's one of the boys in the squad of the Good Times with the Boys. He went to high school with us. Obviously, Kangsan and I went to CAMS, California Mathematics and Science. Don't go on CAMS.com. And
California Academy.
Yeah, California Academy of Math and Science.
What'd I say?
California Math. Like it's a math and science school. It wasn't an English school, so let's just be clear with that.
Engineering.
So I don't talk good, right? California Academy of Mathematics and Science. Andrew, hey, what's up? Tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm 2 years younger than these guys, but that doesn't make a difference.
Nope.
Because friendship lasts through all time.
No, hey, age is just a number, baby.
Age is just a number.
Ain't no numbers in love.
There's a few numbers in love.
Actually, let me take that back. There's an age. There's a number in love.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there clearly is.
There's clearly okay. Look, boom. We're off to a great start here. So yeah. So we changed it up a little bit. This is our fourth episode now. I should have the YouTube videos up for the other ones. But how's everyone doing?
Good, man. Something happened at work that I want to bring up.
Pre-tell.
So, let's just say that this person at work who is at a high ranking within the company, it makes a joke at an all company meeting. But this joke is referring to a discount that only a particular set of people, one, got a chance to redeem, and also a particular set of people only knew about. Meaning, when this person made a joke about some discount that they get or perk that they get, a majority of the company didn't know it even existed. And then I later found out it was purposely kept away from the majority of the company only so that a few people can reap the benefits. So my question to you is, my response, even before I found out that it was kept as a secret, was I was kind of pissed because it isn't necessarily the material aspect of a benefit like a discount, but it's the exclusion that occurred where it's just kind of like me versus you, or we're better than you, that kind of mentality, which if you're in a position of leadership, I don't know if that's the best way to go about doing that.
That's a little bit of favoritism, maybe a little bit of bias.
Well,
it doesn't look good.
Is it based off of their position in the company?
It's a certain team that got their hands on it, and they had the power to decide whether or not to distribute that knowledge, and they decided not to.
So they were able to distribute it to the entire company, but they chose to just give it to themselves, basically.
Yeah, because even within that team, right, you would expect that, okay, a particular team works on a project. If there's benefits from that project, everybody on that team should at least get the benefits. But even within that team, only certain people.
Oh yeah. That's completely messed up.
God, I was heated. I don't know if normally I'd just be like, oh, whatever, dude. But like, it was like a on the basis of principle, like.
No, that's horrible. I tell you what, that's you want to know one way to break trust. And
that's one way.
That's one way to break trust. These are the people that you work with you work together collaboratively in order to do something, in order to do work. And first of all, some people, a lot of people, y'all even want to be there, first of all. And I don't know who these people are. Maybe they're good people, maybe they're bad people, whatever. But, look, you're already working a job. You're already doing something that, yeah, you may or may not like, or you enjoy already. So you're already at a deficit. You're already there working. Why make work harder by adding these variables that that are kind of out of your control? And you said it was someone who's of higher ranking, I guess, if you will. Yeah. So what you gonna do? You know what I mean? You gonna go up to him and say, "Hey, I don't really like the way you didn't allow us to get in or participate in all that." And then next thing you know, there's a bunch of drama and whatever. That's no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like I would have thought, as a lead in that team, it's like, hey, people who worked for me for this project, you guys should at least get the benefits. The leadership thing to do is the team that worked for you would get the benefits, and it's all about giving, right? A leader puts people in position to succeed, and I felt like he didn't do that, and I thought that shit was whack.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't, especially in a manager type of position. That's, you're not building trust that way. I don't like that. And look, man, first of all, we're not making big bucks anyway, so any little thing counts. You know what I mean? I love bonuses, although I don't get them. you know what I mean? But if I did, I would like something, But that I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, someone that comes from a supervisorial position like I do, like if there's one success for one person in the team, then I share that success with everybody on the team. And I think that's just how all workplaces should be, because if one person succeeds, then we should all kind of get a little bit of
some goodies.
Not goodies, because one person's benefit should be their benefit, but if it's able to be passed along to everybody, then why not pass it along to everybody?
Yeah, pay it forward. You're in a place of power, and great power comes great responsibility, and that was very irresponsible of that person to do.
Especially to bring it up as a joke.
And then in front of everybody. That was the thing that got me, was like,
oh, that's right, it was a joke.
Like I get it if it's like a couple people, your team or whatever, but literally in front of the entire company was like, hey, are we gonna still get discounts? And literally like 85% of the employees were like, whoa, what the fuck is
what are y'all talking about?
What is he talking about? So
no, that's
did that employee get reprimanded at all?
I don't know, but I thought that shit was stupid.
Well, I hope he doesn't get his discount anymore.
That shit was corny, man. I don't know. Normally, like, stuff like that doesn't piss me off, but for whatever reason, maybe I'm getting older and all sentimental and shit. But
nah, fuck that, man. It ain't even about getting older. Look, we know what is good as for principle and for morals and all that. Okay, so for those of you out there who are in a position of power, a manager or supervisor, just know that you didn't do this by yourself. You got people under you, you got delegates and all that. So look, if you want to try to screw the system, fine, that's cool. You know what I mean? You want to make it a little bit easier for yourself, or pay it to some other people and not others, that's fine. Just know you're going to get caught.
Well,
you're going to get got.
I just want to highlight that being a leader isn't necessarily knowing more than somebody. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to it than just having more experience. You are now responsible for
everyone else's success,
the well-being. Yeah, the well-being of these people, your team. They're literally helping you live your dream, your vision. They're manifesting that. So with that, it isn't just like do this, do that type of role. It's making sure that everybody is feeling included, feeling involved, feeling like they're being taken seriously. And shit like that's just corny.
Yeah. But so check this out. I think some time has passed a little bit now that I can probably bring this out. So a couple of weeks ago, we watched We watched Avengers.
Yes.
Avengers
That was
Infinity
last
War.
week.
Was it last week?
Yeah. It was like maybe
No.
last Saturday.
No, we watched it on opening weekend. That was April 28th.
Was it?
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Huh.
I think so. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I remember because we had El Torito
No.
brunch.
El Torito brunch.
Yeah.
That was a Sunday then.
So what's
Wasn't it
what's
last
today?
Sunday?
Today's the 12th. -7 is the 5th. -7 is the 28th. That's when we watched it. Saturday.
so 2 weeks
or
ago.
Sunday, 29th.
Yeah, I guess you're
2
right.
weeks ago.
Yep.
So I mean, you know, I guess this goes without saying. I don't really need to say spoiler alert or anything like that. Because look, if you ain't watched the movie, then on you.
Yeah, I know a few people that haven't watched the movie yet. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Go watch it.
And you know what? And this goes for everything for all blockbuster movies across the board, right? If there's a highly anticipated movie coming out that everyone wants to watch, or I guess personally for you that you really want to watch, if you don't watch that movie in a week, you know, maybe the weekend following,
Yeah, be prepared to get spoiled.
yeah, then you really don't want to watch that movie then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, everybody dies. You know what I mean? Everybody dies, pretty much. But no, it was I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I was watching. It was funny to me. I was watching Ben Shapiro. He was doing his movie review on Avengers: Infinity War, and the thing that I took away from that was, yo, Ben, stick to the politics. You know what I mean? I don't know. He was, and I was reading all the comments under the videos of like, man, it must be horrible to watch a movie with this guy just because he's so over analytical and he's just so logical. And he was talking about, well, I knew I was gonna end. I knew everyone was gonna die. Why are you gonna try to pluck the strings of my heart with everyone dying? And he was just going off on a tangent. I was just like, yo, Ben, it's a fucking movie, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, obviously a logical person can tell that this is going to happen, or if you read the comics, this was going to happen. But look, man, this movie isn't for you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I just wanted to bring that up. That was I shouldn't have watched that interview.
I think Ben Shapiro's problem is that he's been debating everything on all topics for so long that he sees everything through the scope of debate.
Yeah.
And so he always has to pick an argument no matter what. And that's just hardwired into his brain now.
It's almost kind of like talking to a robot sometimes, or that, you know, that crazy uncle when you're watching, or that dude who just when you're watching a movie who always has to point out all the facts about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, that scene was filmed over in Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is 27,000. Yada yada yada. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yo, shut up, bro.
Oh, do you guys remember aimbot on AOL Instant Messenger? Do you guys,
my god!
Did you ever talk to aimbot?
Sometimes I was, yeah.
I talk to aimbot a lot.
Yeah, right. And so
sad.
Ben Shapiro is kind of like aimbot, but the human version of aimbot.
Exactly.
Because you just talk about anything to aimbot and it has a response.
That's that's so sad. I used to talk to aimbot a lot.
Oh, I think
I used to talk to aimbot a lot.
I think it's, if that's how he wants to analyze a movie, then, you know, rather than like say anything against it necessarily, you know, we just don't have to listen to it. You know,
Yeah, I mean, we all formed our own opinions about the movie.
I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know. It's. I get it, but at the same time, like, would you expect anything different from him? Like you.
Nah.
It's hard to turn off that switch like it is
to.
for all of us. You know what I mean? It's hard for all of us to really be like, because okay, if anything, that's a sign just letting you know that he's genuinely being himself. Because if he can play a character, it's easier to turn it on and off. But if it's closer to who you are, kind of a core being type of situation, then you're just gonna be like that the whole time. And if he's like that, then he's like that. I wouldn't want to watch a movie with him. Well, maybe not like a fun movie. Maybe more of a historical movie. Be like, hey, man, is that true? Like, did that shit happen?
Yeah, something that he can actually attest for.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, after the movie, can we like talk?
Well,
Yeah.
we just know that superheroes are not his forte then.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you want to talk about the realm of belief, the whole damn movie is
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We talk about
I'm like-
superheroes.
You got a machine that got a stone in his head and he's now alive. Let's talk about how real that is.
Yeah, talk about these. And speaking of robots, these bots and robots, I saw somewhere, I forgot where it was. So they ranked, these whole Alexas, Google Homes, Echoes, whatever. I don't know what you call these things. Kangsan here has the one of these Alexas, but
Home devices.
Yeah.
Home smart devices.
home smart media device,
Smart home.
smart home.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. And so they ranked the highest ones. I think Google, the Google Home, the Google platform was number one. Alexa was number two, and I think Amazon's Echo was number three. But you know who came in an astounding last place?
Apple.
Apple. And I've been saying this for years. Siri sucks. Siri sucks, and Apple Maps will kill you.
You know that scene in The Office where Michael is listening to the GPS and he's clearly driving into a lake,
Yes.
which Dwight is pointing out.
Yes.
Michael Scott was using Apple Maps at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Apple Maps. Look, I don't know what's happening. I told the story before, but I was driving over, I don't know where I was. I was driving over an overpass or something like that. I think I was driving over a freeway, maybe the 405. Let's say just for an example. So I was driving over the 405. I had to get on the 405 in order to get to my destination. As I was driving over the 405, Apple Maps goes, hang a left in 200 feet. Bitch, I'm on a bridge. Okay? I'm on a bridge. Where am I going to hang a left on? You know what I mean? So, had I Michael Scotted that, I'd be dead right now, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's been a few times where Apple Maps have just told me to make a U-turn while I'm going down a straight street.
I think that the app's ability to refresh is really slow. So you should have done a U-turn in this example, but you are well past that point. And so it's trying to catch up, and it's trying to tell you the steps. It's sort of like, it isn't necessarily asking like where you are now. It's like all these bullet points, and it can't skip any. So it's just going, you know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like.
You know what the worst thing I hate about that is when I miss a direction and I'm currently lost and I need redirection. It takes so long for me to get redirected to a different place, and I get even more lost.
Yeah. So Apple.
Y'all gotta fix your shit, bro.
Yeah.
Even like the whole text to talk kind of thing.
Get it together.
Maybe I kind of have like a hard voice to listen to or to articulate, but I've tried to text to talk sometimes and say, yes, I am on my way. You know, Siri goes, bring. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah,
Bitch, you about to get an ass whooping. You know what I mean? So, yeah, look, Siri, Apple, fix your shit, bro.
Yo, but the HomePod, I would say, plays the best music. Have you heard music off the HomePod?
The Apple Home?
Yeah.
No.
I will say, their speakers are legit because, with their partnership with Beats and everything, you have that type of quality. It's just that HomePod can play music, but it would also be nice if you can say, "Can you play music?" and it'll play music, as opposed to you like plugging something in. And
I mean, my sister's HomePod, it could pretty much understand any control to play music like that. Like you tell it to play a song, it'll play the song. So in that respect, it's pretty good. But when you want to do like, let's order something on Amazon, then it has no functionality for it.
What is an Amazon?
But the reviews for the HomePod were also really low. Like it might work for your sister, but I don't think it works for a lot of people.
I think it's hit or miss.
Yeah,
because I've seen some people who just say whatever and it reads it perfectly fine, and Siri reads it perfectly fine, and I go, hey man, but lo and behold, I still use Apple products. Obviously, everybody does, and I'm not gonna use it. I've tried the Samsung, but no.
Yeah, Bixby's even worse than Siri, also in name and in function. But
What's Bixby?
the Samsung, isn't that what you're talking about?
Oh, the
Their voice.
the voice thing.
Yeah,
It's called Bixby.
yeah, Bixby.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, you know, voice is very still in its infancy, like the technology of voice and everything. It's we've had it for a long time, but sort of like scale of things, we're still figuring things out. We literally just got these a few years ago.
Yeah.
We are just figuring out how to get it to order stuff and do stuff for us and kind of be our personal assistant. So, you know, you can expect it to get better.
Right.
It's just that in the current state of things, you know,
So what's
shit's kind of whack, fam.
well? I mean, like, check this out though. What's everyone's take on singularity though?
You mean like
I can't wait.
people like all being one?
Like that kind of singularity?
Oh
Like,
no, like robots,
Oh, like the upcoming, the uprising of robots?
or the inputting of your consciousness into a robot. That's singularity, right?
I don't know, dude, but you can Google
I mean,
it.
yeah. Why don't you give
thought-
us the definition that you think of?
Singularity robots. Technological singularity. Okay. Extent to which computers and robots might be able to acquire autonomy.
See?
And
Yeah.
to what? Okay. Well, yeah. I guess singularity is a very general term, but
Because you're thinking of uploading your consciousness into a robot, right?
yes, I guess that all. I guess that all ties in to
Well,
one
the-
another.
Because the singularity that I thought of was giving consciousness to robots, not anyone's consciousness, but their own consciousness.
Right. I think that's all part of that robot movement. That's what my definition of the whole singularity movement is. The whole robot thing and
Yeah, but do you want to give robots the ability to try to fight for rights when not all humans already have rights as is?
I would, if it's a robot, I would not consider it a human. Therefore,
But look up the definitions of a conscious living being.
like a
'Cause-
conscious robot.
Yeah, because if cognitively they're able to think for themselves, make their own decisions, and then be able to express their own feelings, then wouldn't they be able to ask for rights?
That's true, but I think they'd probably have to make a blanket term saying, if you're a robot, sorry, you're just a robot.
Well, do you think in order for a robot to ask for rights, it first has to understand that it could have rights?
Yeah,
Good
but
one.
if you give a robot consciousness, then wouldn't it be conscious enough to think of that?
And see, what would the consciousness be based off of?
Well, the robot, it goes by the input. So current state of technology is if you order something through voice on Amazon, for example, toothpaste, then it can track the dates that you order it, and it learns in that way. So when we're in a sense, it's still giving autonomy to a robot, but it doesn't know at that moment in time that it has the ability to think other thoughts. It is only going based off of what we input.
Yeah.
Their output is strictly based on our input. Now, throughout time, over the many years, that's when they start to understand maybe a person of interest's birthday in your life. Maybe it's time to get a new TV, or hey, you finally paid off your car, etc. But in order to give it the idea of rights, then the input would have to be a lot about the idea to think freely. So in that regard, I don't know how that works. Robots they can manipulate what they know, but what they don't know, they disregard.
Like in a sense, okay. Say for instance, if you have a robot, a conscious robot, conscious as in just say it's alive, and you program it to follow, like as a maid, right, or a butler or whatever, right. So in order to build conscious, let's say at a very simple level, you program something into the robot that says hurting someone is bad.
Yeah.
Right? Hurting someone is bad. And so that's input into their system. They realize that they're not going to harm anybody. Anything that causes any type of harm to somebody, they won't do it. But if you start to expand what hurt means. So let's just say, for instance, people who are hurt, people who are being what do you call it, deported, say being deported back to Mexico, right? People who are being deported back to Mexico, they see that these people are being hurt by some type of legislation that is forcing these people to go. So if a conscious robot says or is told do not hurt somebody, and they see that's a form of being hurt, then they can start to form things around what that means about being hurt, and then form their own things about that. Right?
Well, in terms of machine learning, it essentially takes all data and plots it in a point, and it starts to figure out based on the algorithm sort of the line of best fit. From there, it will discern what is part of this line of best fit, what isn't, and then it learns from that, and then it improves on the algorithm to try and predict where the next points will go. So that as the input comes in, it compares against the old data, and then it plots that point and says, okay, this is good, this is bad, et cetera, et cetera. You know, right now when it comes to kind of like, you know, a self-driving car and things of that nature, it is collecting data points, thousands and thousands almost every second. And that's how it steers. It's taking into account where the cars are coming from, and it takes that input, you know, as it drives.
In turn, it becomes conscious of stuff like that.
Yeah.
In an analytical type of, in a sense.
Yes, it converts it into data first. So it's tricky because, at least the way I'm understanding it and the way, in my opinion, the consciousness is not necessarily tied down to just data. It involves a lot of other things. And so when a robot is speaking strictly off of data, it's hard to build a consciousness that way.
Right.
Now, the definition of consciousness can be subjective. It could vary from person to person. But, you know, it's like the concern with Facebook was that two AIs were talking to each other and develop its own language. Mm-hmm. You can say that that's definitely consciousness to be able to say that. But it isn't, them developing a language isn't like, hey, German, hey, when I say this, I mean that. It's just a way for me to deliver an information to you in what data-wise is a little bit better streamlined. Instead of me saying, hi, my name is Kangsan. If they just say, bleep, boop, bop, and you know that means my name is Kangsan, then there it is. So it's sort of like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not necessarily consciousness. It's just, it's the learning of communication and using different forms, and through all the permutations that these robots programs have gone through, that they just come up with. They've come up with other, and also too, they want to come up with ways that's easiest to communicate, right? Less effort to communicate. So they found loopholes or different ways of doing the same job, but that don't necessarily isn't the actual way to do it, kind of thing. So, you know, maybe it looks like they're thinking about it. If in all honesty, they might just be trying to find the best way to do it, and people are reading it as if, oh my goodness, they're thinking for themselves right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you brought up the harm argument because were you thinking about Age of Ultron?
I wasn't, but
because the entire premise of Ultron was he wanted to help make the world a better place.
Right.
And the people that were making the world bad were people.
Right.
So you want to eliminate all the people and just create a world of just other conscious robots like himself.
Right.
So that's why I don't like singularity, because you create a being that has its own thought processes and it doesn't have human error. Then think we're not prepared to handle that type of stuff.
I would say
That's a weird one.
We do have to be wary of the potential downfalls, but we also have to try and understand that it could be used for good. There's the potential there. I mean, look at today's day. You know, there's a lot of really crappy and shitty things out there, but also when we get sick, we don't die. So,
Right.
you know, you kind of have to take things in hand. Like, yes, there's the possibility, and I'm not advocating for singularity. I'm just saying with as technology advances, I think a lot of people who are concerned solely focus on the concerns because maybe they feel that the potential for bad is greater than the potential for good. But I think that ignoring that potential for good is
just as
is
bad.
just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think a robot would really be useful for?
I mean, if
Cooking.
self-driving cars is a great start.
Yeah, but that's just, it's more of a convenience factor, isn't it, for everyone?
It can cut down the rate of accidents.
Well, a self-driving car versus like an actual robot butler that would drive you, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're like, okay, go on.
So instead of a robot, like a typical robot, bipedal robot that could walk around with you, like technology for a self-driving car would be, I would get alongside with that versus an actual like walking robot, like robot butler.
Well, you know, robots can also potentially help with those who have disabilities. As we enter this age, you know, mobility is becoming a little bit more important. And so people who are in wheelchairs, you know, there's technology out there that can convert a wheelchair to increase the height on somebody so they're not, you're not always feeling like people are looking down on you. You can actually be eye level to somebody who is our height. In those instances, when it comes to mobility and helping people with disabilities, you know, artificial intelligence and machine learning can really help. And when it comes to giving people prosthetics and things of that nature, as technology advances, it's great. I think you're no longer stuck to a clamp. It's an actual hand with knuckles and fingers and that can move individually. Those things are great. I think it helps people out.
Yeah, I think what Andrew was saying more for like the actual tangible robot doing stuff, walking amongst people, thinking amongst people. But you know, to your point, obviously there I think there has to be a happy medium.
Yeah.
Between the two, where we utilize robotic type of things in a way to obviously help people, but not necessarily, you know, take advantage of it and, you know, create a new world order with robots kind of thing.
Is there a ceiling of where you think artificial intelligence should reach?
I think that ceiling's always moving. It's tough for me to say. The only thing I'm presenting is because the feeling that I'm getting from you is that you're very concerned about it, and I'm trying to just highlight that there is a potential for good out there too.
No, I understand that there's good things about it, but at what point is it for people to say we probably shouldn't reach this, go further than this anymore?
I don't know.
I don't think they'll know.
I mean, that's the same thing with the internet, right? When the internet started, everyone was like, "Oh, this is cool," and then like some shit happened, like, "Oh, how far is this gonna go?" And no one really knew. And now that we know more information, there becomes a little bit more of a debate on that of what they're doing now with like net neutrality, for example.
Right.
We're very much like robots in that regard of we have to have the data first before we can conceptually understand, at least for the most of us, conceptually understand where things are and how things are going to go. The only thing that I would say is sort of as technology increases, as technology gets better, it becomes more efficient and easier to create new technology, which shortens the period of time for you to get adjusted to the new technology that just came out. Mm-hmm. And so we have to also adapt to that and be quicker to learn about the tech. We have to be more efficient at learning new technology. If we learn about how to use a laptop the same rate as we did 10 years ago, by the time we get used to the machine that we have, we're 3-4 generations behind. So we have to be, as the years go on, we have to be more efficient at receiving that type of information.
Do you think the bump, because we do this almost every day, when your mom or dad comes up to you and says, son, I saw that there's this app that you can, whatever, right? Anything helping them in a technological standpoint kind of thing, right? But it just seems obviously what is so easy for us to, you go to the app store, you download the thing that said stopwatch, and you have a stopwatch on your phone. That it comes so easy to us. Do you think that the difference in knowledge of our current technology to our parents is going to be greater or less than the future's technology to our knowledge about that in the future?
Greater.
I think it's going to be greater.
You think it's going to be? You think we're going to be worse off?
Yes.
I think the distance.
There's going to be a bigger discrepancy, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that necessarily means we're worse off, but the next generation of kids that are growing up now are going to be much quicker at adapting to the new technology than we are when we get old.
Absolutely.
People say that that's the main reason why kids nowadays in this next generation have ADD. The majority of them.
Yeah.
Because their attention's always being moved from one focus to another focus, that that's just how their mind works now.
I think everybody has a degree of ADD or ADHD, whether it be onset from being nurtured with that, given a bunch of things to do, and you know what? Maybe a lot of it comes from parents who just say, "Here's an iPad, go play in the corner," kind of thing, rather than, "Hey, son, you want to go watch basketball, shoot some hoops, or whatever." So, and they're just frying their brains early on.
Yeah, because once you have like an iPad in front of you, it's instant gratification for whatever.
For hours.
For whatever thing that you want done. Whereas when we were growing up, it's like, oh, you want to have fun? Read a book, and then just
go bike outside.
Create create stuff in your own head with your imagination, that sort of stuff.
I think it's interesting. Let's take out the extremes, meaning the kids that genuinely have a very difficult time paying attention to things, right? Let's take out the extreme cases, because for them, what I'm about to say doesn't apply. Rather than saying that necessarily the brain is being fried, or that they're receiving the instant gratification, my opinion is that the way that they receive the information is very different. Because to me, the language of saying that the instant gratification and the brain's being fried, it kind of implies that it's a detriment to them, like it's a negative. I'm saying the way they receive it is just different than how we receive it. So the instant gratification in turn is they're just quicker at seeing something and going, I got it. They can multitask. They can read a book, listen to something, and then there's something on TV, and be able to kind of not freak out. If it was me and those things were happening, I'm like, I got to turn some shit off. Like, I can't do it right now.
I could do all that.
Yeah, I'm opposite of that. I like to have a lot of things on.
Right, but what I'm saying is, we are trying to, not us, but just in general, the older generations are trying to tell the new generation how we used to have it, and that's how it should be, as opposed to saying, okay, they're behaving in this way. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's maximize that way. I think there's a difference. Instead of telling millennials or the next generation, whatever you call the next ones after millennials, instead of telling them you are
Zen.
Oh, the Zen.
Generation Z.
Instead, rather than saying you move on too quick from one thing to another, you can't sit down and focus. You have this, you have that, you're this, you're that. It's just saying, okay. Because at the end of the day, when we all, regardless of what our attention span is, when we find something that we enjoy or that we're passionate about, we have the ability to channel all our energy to focus on that one thing. I think that is pretty common amongst all of us, right? We move on because after a while it's just not as interesting anymore. So this next generation is just, instead of saying you this, you that, it's just this is how they are. So let's pivot and let's change the way we send them information so that they receive it that way. And then as they mature and grow, that's when we start to kind of try to provide a happy medium. But I think too many of the times there's a lot of blame placed on kids of being less attentive, more disruptive, and this and that. But that comes from a comparison to how it was before.
Yeah.
When we're growing up, we were upset at our parents when they were saying, yo, I used to be a kid too. This is how you do it. And you're like, gosh, it's not like that anymore. But their parents would always say, nah, like it is. That's the same feeling. You get what I'm saying? It's just now that it's just a mix of technology instead.
Well, I mean, because I too I shouldn't subject these kids, although I do. I see a lot of just what's happening on, just Instagram and all these kids nowadays who are the Generation Z who are doing all these dumb things. Not to say that when I was their age in the mid-teens, late teens, I wasn't doing dumb stuff. Yeah, I was doing dumb stuff. It just seems like the dumb shit that they're doing now has escalated beyond what I once comprehended as something dumb. There's a lot of dumb, and I'm not attributing that to the lack of parenting or a lot of their neurons firing because they're watching a lot of movies or videos or they're on the iPad all the time. But they live in a world of what do you call that when you want something known that you've done something. What's that called? They need validation.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays need validation to either show that they're cool, that they're funny, that they're part of the wave, that they're part of the mold, and then, one dumb thing a kid does, like for instance, like all these challenges that's happening, right? And that's why I'm trying to think back when we were their age, what kind of dumb things we were getting ourselves into. Because I can tell you, when I was 15, I wasn't eating Tide Pods.
True, but we weren't also exposed to technology that allowed us to get hundreds of thousands of views.
Exactly.
So it's a little different. Like we were still seeking validation. It was just a smaller sample size. So our way of acting out was misbehaving in a classroom because our peers thought it'd be funny. Now we have this access that somebody from halfway across the world can see.
Yeah.
So what's the challenge? And I'm picturing the 15-year-old me in today's world, and I'm by no means a wild child or anything like that. I was a total nerd, but I also had that seek of validation. I really wanted to be liked and really wanted to be cool.
But I tell you what, I'm pretty sure a 15-year-old Kangsan ain't gonna eat a Tide Pod.
No, I definitely wouldn't, and I think that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. But what I'm saying is, instead of seeking validation from 30 people, if you think, oh, what's going to make hundreds of thousands of people like me, you are then subjecting yourself to kind of go a little bit more extreme. And so for every person that wouldn't eat a Tide Pod, so 100,000 people would like them, there's going to be one kid that eats the Tide Pod, is what I'm trying to say.
Do you guys think that if we eat Tide Pods on this podcast, we're going to get 100,000 views?
No, I think it's played out. We got to eat like...
Shit.
I thought that's what podcast stood for.
Oh, it's
Tide
just,
Pod.
Yo.
What am I doing here?
If you guys want us to eat Tide Pods,
Too bad.
let us know, because we will eat. No, fuck that. That's stupid. We ain't eating Tide Pods. Oh, well, look. As far as as far as parenting goes, so obviously we watch a lot of videos during the week. You know, it's fun. So I think somewhere in, so you know, they have in like the safaris, they have the drive-in safaris.
Yeah.
Right, you drive in, you see the lions.
I have one in San Diego.
Oh, where you can go into like the actual park
Yeah.
and drive in. Okay, so they have one in San Diego apparently, right? So I think this one. There's a video in I don't know if it was Sweden or whatever. They were in a cheetah sanctuary, right? Bunch of cheetahs everywhere. So the people who were filming was the car behind the car in front who was messing up in life, and so they pulled up, and all you see is a mom, a dad, and like two kids running around in the safari park
This can't end well.
with the cheetahs, right? And so the dude's filming, and he's like, filming whatever, and this is the funny thing. So it's the dad, the mom, and like the kids, and the dad sees like all these cheetahs, and he looks at his wife and his kids. He's like, "Oh fuck that! I'm going back to the car, dog." And he fucking ran back to the car. I think he ran back to the car with the other kid, and left, or by himself, and left the wife with two kids like around surrounded by cheetahs, right? And the mom was like picking up the kid and like move and trying to kick the cheetahs away. No, I just thought that was kind of funny. But look, that's just is it Darwinism or evolution?
Well,
What do you call that when like stupid is as stupid does, and if you go then you go because you're stupid kind of thing?
so I believe if all four of them died, they would have been part of the Darwin Awards.
There you go. So there's Darwinism, yeah.
Yeah. So the Darwin Awards are the stupidest ways to die. And yeah, if all of them died because of them trying to race cheetahs, then
I don't think they were trying to race cheetahs.
no, but they should have known that cheetahs is one of the fastest land animals alive.
Yeah.
I think it's I don't think that those safaris are generally a good idea because you're dealing with beasts
In their natural habitats.
that can kill you. You are.
Yeah.
It's similar to walking into a stranger's home and sitting down and just staring at them, right? It's just kind of weird, to an animal, but also maybe it's just me, but if there's me and my family surrounded by cheetahs, I don't necessarily run away. I just kind of come to terms that, look, if something happens, I guess today's the day that I die.
This is it.
Yeah, I gotta let my family live. So it's twofold for me.
Yeah, but like you also wouldn't take your family out of the secure vehicle and put them in between cheetahs.
I wouldn't, but what I'm saying is, if that's what he did, then it's also his responsibility to stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love to think what was going through their mind, and because there's a line of cars, and they stop because there's traffic or whatever. I'm wondering if they go, you know what, man, it would be dope if I can take a picture next to that tree with 15 cheetahs in that tree. You think I can do that? They step out of the car, and the next thing you know, there's like 37 cheetahs surrounded by them, and and I think this thing happened back in China also, where that lady got dragged by the tiger, and I think her husband kind of just like let her go or something like that. But yeah, man, these safari parks ain't nothing to fuck with. But you know what? I want to go to one though.
I will stick with Planet Earth. It's a great documentary series.
Would you go to Jurassic Park?
No.
If it was
real?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yes, I would, dude.
No way.
Hell yes.
I would.
I would not.
I would stay on Jurassic Island.
I definitely would send you guys a card.
Cool.
Because no,
Because you ain't coming back.
Nah, I'm good.
Huh. No, I wouldn't. I definitely would.
I would too, because you could die anywhere. If it happens to be from a extinct being, then it's your time to go.
I wouldn't die. I would survive. I'm a survivor.
Well, I mean, so is Beyonce. I'm sure that she wouldn't go to.
I'm pretty sure she would.
I'm pretty sure she would.
By the way,
she
that
owns it.
was a Survivor. It was a Destiny's Child joke. If anyone didn't get that,
We got it.
okay.
We
I'm
got
just
it.
saying.
Y'all get that? Good. No, I would go. I would go with Beyonce.
Yeah,
Beyonce probably buys the island. She probably owns that shit.
dude, but
She wouldn't go unprotected though.
Jurassic Park would be
yeah,
really expensive to actually go to.
Yeah, it would be thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to a Westworld.
Oh,
Westworld,
Westworld.
I would definitely go to.
Have you seen? Have you guys started season 2 yet?
Nope.
I didn't even know there was a season 2. I don't think I finished season 1.
Yeah, I didn't finish season 1 yet.
Oh yeah, finish season 1. I have not started season 2 either, but I'm excited to.
You know who else would love Westworld? Tony Stark.
Would he? Why?
I think he would, because he would run that shit.
Oh, he would run that shit.
Yeah, he would make so much fucking money.
Oh,
off of
he
that
would
thing.
like Westworld to own, not to actually participate in.
I mean, he would probably like dabble as like research, but but he wouldn't. I mean, I think he would find a way to own that shit. He's super smart, so I think.
I don't think he would need to go dabble into Westworld for research because he's like the third richest person in Marvel.
I don't necessarily mean like legitimate research, but I mean like the sex bots.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get that
research.
in real life.
See, that's what I'm talking about. These robots, bro. Sex bots. Only $7,000.
I'm gonna stay away from this one. Go ahead.
Sex bots, $7,000. I think you can get it from Japan or something like that. I'm not going to continue and spiral down this tangent because I could talk about this for hours, bro.
Listen, we got all day. We can make this a
Hours,
2-part
bro.
podcast. On part 2,
On part 2,
Germund
we
talks
actually
about
have a
sex
sex
bots.
bot. No sex bots here.
No, but finish Westworld if you want to think about like consciousness and robots.
Yeah, because I got far enough to where the what's that black lady's name? She was
Danny Newton.
she was the mama-san. Yeah, her, where she kind of like came to, but it's not really conscious.
She was spoiler alert. She was programmed to do all the things she was supposed to do.
yes, and then
What do you mean?
she was a sex bot.
She was a sex bot, but
No, but she was programmed to come alive in real life.
yeah, someone programmed her to actually come consciousness outside of Westworld.
And
Well,
you
see,
know
that-
who it was?
The Korean dude.
No. do you want to know, or are you gonna?
Well, yeah, I guess.
It's the other black. The head of. I don't even know his position.
No, wasn't.
Oh, the dude
wasn't
with the
no,
eyeglasses.
but for her character specifically, it wasn't him. Wasn't it one of the other people? It was in the white coat. It was like this other guy who like wanted to like have sex with this sex body in real life. You know what I'm saying? So he tried turned on, and then he found out.
No, but he didn't change her program.
I gotta rewatch it. I thought it was somebody else that happened to catch her, like turn it on or turn her on, and then she kind of was like, "What is this world?" And then like somehow she remembered it.
And he's like, "This is your world, baby."
No,
But it was
didn't
all,
even get that
it was
close.
all over the master plan of what's his name,
The black dude.
black dude, or it
The
could
black
have
dude with
been
eyeglasses.
Anthony Hopkins. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have been part of his master plan as
It
well.
could have.
He's not black.
Let me tell you one thing I had a problem about Westworld season 1. So there's this scene, the Asian dude. I don't know if he's Korean. So that
Okay.
he awakens her in the real world.
Okay.
She knows that this is a different world that she's never seen before, but then she knows something's up basically.
Yeah.
So she demands that he take her on a tour. Not in like, oh, let me see. It's just like, you have to show me what's happening right now. And he agrees. In this scene, her and him go to every single floor of the building before approaching the 5th floor, where she sees a banner of her and a child, presumably hers.
Okay, I
and
recall.
she freaks out.
Yes.
Okay, so my problem is, ain't nobody say, hey, you're not supposed to be here, and I know that that's a robot right there. Like, I mean, I get it for the scene. You have to show kind of the evolution of the character, saying like, oh, she's starting to learn and like understand that there's this great, grand layer of operations that exists so that this world can exist. So that scene is, I think, meant for that. But that was the first thing I thought was like, they literally were like looking at other scientists testing other robots, and they're like, oh, there's a dog, and
No, but you.
oh, look at the horse. And he's the only one in a white coat. I think she's walking around naked, and it's like,
Yes.
hello.
But
No, but they do walk around
yeah,
the other robots.
They do walk around robots.
Yeah, but every title is tied to a specific floor, meaning there's gonna be areas where he normally would never go to.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
but he's in a lab coat, so wouldn't he have access to all those other levels? And she's naked, so they don't know which world she's actually in.
That's true, but what I'm saying is, okay, if you're on a floor and you know the people on your floor and in your department, wouldn't you know if there's somebody that works that's a coworker of yours but doesn't belong on your floor?
I mean, it seems like it's a massive operation.
I would know if I was smaller, if the company that I was working for was smaller. But like right now, where there's like 1,000 people at my work, I still wouldn't know.
Listen, I just thought that was a big plot hole.
No, yeah. When I remember, I do recall watching it, and when I did watch it, I was like, "There's something off about this. Like, this is like, if I was working there, and if I was working there, and I was one of the people in the lab coats, I'd probably be one of the dudes saying like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, I probably would have called him out.
It just threw me off. My first instinct was, how come nobody else knows that these two people are here? Is it just me? And then especially on the lobby, right? Mm-hmm. Especially that last bit of this last part of the scene where they're in the lobby. That's where the clientele is to go on the train.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. They were, yeah.
So
yeah.
it was kind of like tying this perfect bow on a thing called a plot hole or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like, fine. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they just thought he's doing whatever. But on the freaking lobby, bro, like, do you really, like, there's a naked woman on the lobby. Like, no matter what company you work at, aside from, I don't know, Playboy or whatever, like, I wouldn't expect a naked woman and an Asian dude in a lab coat in a lobby.
Damn sure wouldn't mind, though.
With the shifty eyes.
I think their entire business model is mind your business. And so everyone that works there just minds the business.
Like Westworld, and then like very tiny font on the bottom of the
Mind
W.
your damn business.
Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch Westworld again. Maybe I won't. I probably won't.
It had a nice little twist in the end.
There's some good twists in there that I genuinely didn't expect.
Yeah.
I mean, every first season of every TV show is a lot of character building, a lot of story building. So it's hard, you know, there's a challenge there because a lot of people just want that action right away, you know, so they do a really good job of the writing and things like that, you know. So
That's all. No,
definitely worth a shot. HBO.
HBO.
Yep.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe I'll finish it out. But I've been watching a lot of other stuff on
The flicks.
the flicks, baby, on the flicks and on the Lou. I mean, actually, no, I'm lying. I watch The Office all the time. It's just The Office.
Just on repeat.
Yeah, it's on repeat. You know, y'all probably do the same thing. It's you know, when you don't have anything to watch, and you just like, and it's all part of having a lot of things happening. It's The Office on repeat. I wish the flicks had a view counter.
Yeah. I mean, look, Office is one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
All time.
So I think people do that with other TV shows. Probably do it with Friends, Parks and Rec. I think there's a lot of good
Love Parks and Rec.
other series that you can kind of make an argument for.
Yeah, when we're playing video games, or when we were playing video games, you could hear The Office playing in his headset, and you could hear Parks and Rec playing on my headset, like almost all the time.
That's y'all. None of y'all obviously got into this craze of Fortnite.
No,
No.
I missed it. I enjoy the gameplay. Like when I watch, I enjoy the creativity that the guys can do because to me, it's just like I don't know what the rules are or the possibilities are. You know what I mean? Like
That's what it seems like. It's just a realm of all these possibilities that can happen. And to be honest, I thought it was going to fizzle out.
Yeah, no, but it's growing.
It's growing strong right now. Like just millions of people.
Because athletes are playing it right now too.
It's just it's funny how things just catch fire, you know, and it's very primitive looking also.
No, but I think that's part of the allure of
The
game.
allure of it, yeah.
it also helps with, I think, the ability for so many people to join one online game.
Yeah,
The higher the graphics, it's a lot harder for everybody to be, you know, in the game
right.
successfully. So I think kind of playing to that, an additional benefit of having a little bit cheesier graphics and a little cartoonish style is that you can reduce the bandwidth so that people with slower internet speeds can still join and have fun. It kind of helps. And also, you can increase the number of users. So it could be the crazy one-on-one on however many people can go. Because before, when we started with the giant thing we call an Xbox, it was what, 4-on-4, 8-on-8, 6-on-6 or something?
Yeah.
And then
if
it kind
you're
of
lucky, some LAN party type shit.
Exactly. And it kind of grew to 16-on-16. Then we got 32-on-32. Then we had PUBG do the, 100? So you're seeing it grow, which is great because the more players there are, it's so much more fun.
It is.
Because the maps are so giant and detailed. I think it's great. I think I remember the days of playing Quake with 3 other people, and it took forever to find somebody.
Quake Arena, dude, just running through the halls.
And God forbid you ever run into a game where everybody's camping, then nothing happens, and it's so fucking boring. So,
that's why I like PUBG, or when we were playing it, because they would decrease the size of the map every.
I think they did that.
They did it for Fortnite as well.
They did it for Fortnite, yeah.
And so, they were able to integrate different types of games all into one game.
So I think it's great. I think the fact that retro games are coming back, I think is great.
Oh, I love that.
One thing that is not great, I was driving, listening to my Spotify, and Spotify does a great job of kind of curating music into different podcasts. So I was listening to a classic rock podcast, or not podcast, playlist. Classic rock playlist, and the first song I heard on shuffle was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then after that was a Green Day song. And those are songs that are technically from the 90s, and so I've never felt simultaneously old and angry as I have when I heard those songs. I mean, they're great songs, but
that's not your fault.
That's
not your fault.
Classic rock to us was like 70s, 80s, and now I guess 90s are kind of being thrown in there, and it's just...
You know what? That's a damn shame, dude. Spotify, fix your algorithm. That is fucked up, dude.
It is classic, and it is rock, so technically...
They are classics. It is rock. It's not classic rock.
But I mean, kids these days are going to think that is classic rock.
That is classic rock to kids these days. Back when we were kids,
God, that makes my
and we thought classic rock was the thing. Our parents probably thought, no, that's just rock.
Yeah, so I really feel old.
Wow,
hearing that when I heard those songs, I didn't skip it because they're amazing, but it just
leaves a little weird taste in your mouth a little bit.
I felt really gray. Like I felt like every hair in my body was gray after that.
Nah, I wouldn't even say that. It's not that. But look, shout out to Spotify, unless you're R. Kelly. Not shout out. I saw that. So I saw that, right? Mm-hmm. R. Kelly is now being removed from Spotify for not malicious acts, but what they say.
It's pretty malicious, dude.
Just malicious. Okay, so him alongside with like some of these newer SoundCloud type of rappers, X something, and then Tay, Quay, and R. Kelly. I don't know me like that. Right, I don't know who those people are. Right. So yeah, those 3 people. I guess the other 2 who are prominent in like the Generation Z people who like to bump that music, and obviously for us, we have this kinship with R. Kelly. But so yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I don't know what they're talking about, man. R. Kelly makes dope music, bro.
Yeah, so where am I supposed to listen? I believe I can fly now. Pandora?
Exactly.
It came from all the negative publicity he's receiving regarding his behavior towards girls.
Yeah.
I
thought we were over and done with that.
No, because they keep coming out. Like it keeps being talked about because there hasn't been any I don't think there's been any legal course of action.
Oh, okay.
So it's still
so now that he's still doing it, it's just nothing's been done about it.
I don't know if he's still doing it, but there's been a lot of people that said in the past he's done it a lot and in a very disturbing way. So, I can definitely understand why Spotify would make that move.
Yeah. That's a good move.
That is, on the subject of sort of how do you describe, like, I guess the abuse, or on the subject of that realm, we've faced a lot in the news of misbehavior by men against women a lot of times, and it's quite often abuse of power, abuse of a lot of things, and it's very horrendous, and we've heard a lot of negative things about it. Part of it, and the only reason I know a lot about it, is because I'm a big Niners fan, but there's a linebacker, Reuben Foster, who was accused of domestic violence. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of public push towards cutting him, because there have been moments in the past other players have been accused of domestic violence, and the Niners have cut those players or cut ties with them. So a lot of people were asking, why not him? And there was a lot of argument being made, because they think he's going to be good. I guess because they're going to make money off of him, then the third.
Reuben Foster is
a linebacker.
A rookie?
He was a rookie, yeah. Oh, my God. So I was part of the group that thought, damn, like, yeah, he's good and all, but you can't treat anybody like that and expect to get away with it. I think that's fucked up. So yes, I was on the side of I think we just got to cut him. Not saying leave him to, like, you still have to find ways to kind of help those types of people, understand what they did wrong. And you can't just like let them go, because then it's just sort of not necessarily providing that type of, you're kind of discarding them, and it's hard for them to really learn what is happening. But
was it?
I'm getting to it right now. But what happened was, a couple weeks ago, it turned out that she made the whole thing up. So what happened was, look, the whole scenario, there's no one wins out of this scenario, okay? And this is why. So the scenario, at least the way everyone's reporting it, is he was out with a girl that wasn't his girlfriend. She thought that, okay, maybe they weren't out together. So she thought some girl that she saw was a side chick. She went over to confront said side chick. Mm-hmm. Just so happens that the side chick kicked the girlfriend's ass. So she used those bruises, went to the police and said, he did this to me. Wow. So all of this happened, that news came out, but then the additional news came out in which I think there is an actual police record of it, is him actually abusing their dog. So I'm not here to say that he's completely innocent and things like that. There's a certain portion of the story that turned out to not be true, but which
is the biggest portion.
Yes, but there's also a portion of it that's still troubling, So I think what I just wanted to highlight was, we are very quick to, when we hear news, just to read the headline, mm-hmm. and then just make a decision off of that headline. For us, I think it's also very important to sort of make sure everything is there, fact check, double check, triple check, and then make the decision before we kind of,
of course,
jump the gun, so to speak.
And the bad thing about Instagram and, well, actually it's just to be honest, Instagram and or other websites that host videos. Then again, it would be the people who are posting these videos. Is on Instagram you have 60 seconds. You know what I mean? And so they will post a video of something that only lasts 60 seconds, where the meat of it is where all the bad stuff is happening, and that's what they're going to post. And then you have all these people who are commenting about it and putting their 2 cents in about something that is seen, but it's not necessarily the whole type of story. And then everyone just runs with it. The power of people's opinions on a fallacy can turn out so bad. Obviously, case in point, this, if they really wanted to run with this, obviously this is at a higher level of legality with the NFL and all that. But I mean, for other cases, he could have gone down for this, and if she never spoke up, then this could have gone obviously way worse for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer in that. The truth eventually comes out. Unfortunately, sometimes it's really long time between the truth actually coming out. But, that's not to say I'm trying to say that like we should wait on the whole R. Kelly thing, because the R. Kelly thing's been a long time, and there's been a lot of fucked up shit that's come out in the news.
Close that case, fam.
And it's just like, all right, look, man, like, yes, you made some dope music, but what you did is pretty fucked up. So you deserve the consequences of those actions as well.
You guys should also know that the people that write articles aren't the same people that write the headlines.
Correct.
So the headline isn't always the truth, because publishers would always just have a headline and then just tack on an article that kind of relates to it.
It's it kind of sucks too for the writer, because a lot of times when they're like, oh, look at this stupid ass headline, they find out who the writer is, because it has that right below, and they like attack the person, and then they probably go to the editor or whomever, create the headline, like, hey man, like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
hey dude,
not the message.
Look at this shit. What the
Yo, I just got by a bunch of people because you write some dumbass headline.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you know what? Well, Spotify, it's all good. Good move on R. Kelly, but fix your algorithm, right?
Yeah.
This isn't classic rock yet.
Can you give us a little bit more time before you put Red Hot Chili Peppers on there? I just need to be able to deal with it. I'm in denial right now.
Yeah, no disrespect to Red Hot Chili Peppers, one of the best bands ever, but
classic.
They're a classic, but let's just chill on the classic rock, okay? Let's chill on that.
Is there a different like subgroup that you want them to be under then?
Just rock hits.
Yeah, there you go. Rock hits, yeah.
Rock hits from the 90s.
That could do it too. Just my definition of classic was like anything in the 70s and prior. But
I'll even do like early 80s and prior.
Unfortunately, we can't say that classic rock is defined, bookmarked, and then it doesn't move as we get older, because then it follows us. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Because I know some older people that are probably getting mad and say, "You think the late 70s are classic rock?"
I was playing basketball at LA Fitness yesterday, and a kid came up to me, and we were talking, and he was just graduated high school, and he was talking to another person who I presume was his friend, and he said, "I'm old," and I looked at him, I just laughed. I laughed so hard.
I thought you were going to smack him in the face.
And I was like, listen,
I thought you were going to beat him upside the head.
You're going to think you're old now, then you're going to say you're old again when you're 20. You're going to say you're old when you're 23. You're going to say you're old when you're 25. You're not old, dude.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had that, or maybe because I've always overlooked it. But you know when something happens and you genuinely believe otherwise, or you genuinely act another a different way, and then you think, "Oh shit, I'm old." You feel me? Like,
give us an example.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think, because I don't think I've had that yet.
See, because I work with a lot of people that are younger than me, and so my gauge on how old I am isn't really emphasized, because I can kind of act the same way as all of them. I just act at a more mature level.
Right. I mean, it's very easy for all of us to act a fool whenever we want, but it's our determination on how foolish we would like to act amongst the younger folk is how we conduct ourselves. But for in a basketball standpoint, I haven't been following much of the people, haven't been following as much as the people who aren't in the playoffs. However, I did read something about Kawhi Leonard.
Ooh, at a Dodger
game. And
Kawhi to the Lakers confirmed.
It would suck if he went to the Clippers.
Kawhi to the LA confirmed. It doesn't
Is,
matter.
is that one of the?
Come home, Kawhi.
Was that one of the things that they were saying, or that it's one of the Lakers? Because
Lakers, yeah.
everyone's been talking about LeBron to the Lakers and Paul George to the Lakers. Were people saying Kawhi to the Lakers?
Yeah, a lot of people were saying Kawhi to Lakers. It's Kawhi to LA in general. The Clippers can trade. I have a little hesitation. Like, it's fun in games because I love Kawhi. I love the Lakers, but LaMarcus Aldridge was in a similar position the year before, and a story broke just a few days ago that he even went up to, or he even called Damian Lillard in the offseason and was like, yo, find a way to get me back on the Blazers. It got that bad for LaMarcus, and Popovich sat down with him and was able to hash things out, and he balled out this year.
That's true. Yep.
So, I don't necessarily think that it's a foregone conclusion, while some people may think that. I think the power of Popovich and R.C. Buford and just the Spurs organization in general speaks for itself. They also can re-sign Kawhi for about $7 million or $40 million more than any other team because they have their like, I think, some rights. So no matter how mad you may get at an organization, if they can give you $40 million, I think you're
gonna say yeah.
You can kind of forget a few of the complaints that you might have. So
what were the complaints though?
So some of the complaints were the way practice was structured and the way they were kind of doing things behind the scenes. And on ESPN, Ramon Shelburne wrote a story about even the Spurs team doctors and Kawhi's doctors that he used to get a second opinion couldn't agree on the cause of the injury. So it's his leg, it's his quad. Some people thought it was the actual quad area. Some people, and the other half, I forgot which was which, thought that it was the tendon connected to the patella. Mm-hmm. So, before I say this again, I love Kawhi. So I'm kind of biased, but if you have two sets of doctors with two different medical opinions, there could be a cause for concern. Be like, whoa, you guys can't even know what this is. Like,
yeah,
I want to know what it is before I put myself out there. You kind of pair that with what happened to Isaiah Thomas last year. He played through injury. He had to get surgery. He delayed it. He played his ass off, and then he got fucking traded. Like,
yeah.
It was like the idea of, and now he has to get surgery again. So,
who? Kawhi Leonard?
Isaiah Thomas. So I think like those two kind of factors combined helped contribute to him being like, I don't think I should play. But I also think that his family is in his ear, or there's members in his team that's in his ear that's kind of hyping him up to be like, yo, you deserve better than San Antonio.
Get out of there.
You need a big market. You're not, look at you. You're like a top 5 player. You came in second in MVP voting last year, and Jordan Brand can't even get you your own shoe. Like, I think there's also maybe not the best people around him.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're gonna be saying that when you get $40 million.
So I think they hyped him up. So Kawhi, if by any small chance of God you're listening,
he's smiling right now.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know if you remember me, but I sold you an iPhone charge cable one time at Best Buy.
Oh, that's right.
And I shook your hand, and you just shook my arm.
With his fingertips.
You shook my body.
I just want to let you know, just talk to Pop. You and San Antonio are perfect for each other. You deserve each other. You don't have to go to a big market to be a big name.
No, I don't think Kawhi is a big market type of person anyways.
He's not. He doesn't
He's
have
super humble.
So please, whatever it takes, if you want me to move to San Antonio, I'll do it.
He'll do it.
Yeah,
Kawhi, he'll do it.
I know how to bake bread. I love to tell jokes. We can talk about Wingstop, and we can go to Wingstop all day. There's a lot of things that we could do. Just please stay in San Antonio. You deserve it.
Just come back to playing basketball, man. I miss you. I miss watching you play basketball.
Yes, please. I really hope you come back like 100%.
Yeah, LeBron out here ain't got no competition. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be my Derrick Rose. Please. Don't be my Derrick Rose.
All right, that's it. I'm leaving.
Yes, I finally get my own podcast. Oh, they said right now the reports are that the Timberwolves are very likely to sign him again, like to an actual multi-year deal.
Well, if they had eyes, then yes, they would.
Because he balled out. He actually played really well in
He
that
did.
Houston series, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it was a playoff. I guess he has a little bit of experience, but can you imagine just being riddled with injuries and flip flopping with teams, and all of a sudden when you get put onto a team, a couple weeks later, boom, you win the playoffs, and you play against the number one team in the West Coast. I think he held himself very well.
He just has to learn how to land a lot better, and
They got videos on this, bro. They got science videos on this dedicated just to showing how bad Derrick Rose lands on his legs, on his feet.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Just, I'm glad you're back, man. I'm glad you're balling out, but you know, you can't survive going through what you're putting your body through. You know what I mean? Maybe he should do that fusion stuff. Just fuse your ankles and fuse your knees, baby, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Just go to Germany. Ask Kobe about it.
Yeah, Kobe did it. LeBron did it. Everybody did it. I know a lot of golfers that done it. Germany got something in the water that when you drink it, you just come out and you feel good.
Yeah, we'll stick to that story.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go to Germany and get some of that water.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's about that time. We're almost at a hour and a half already.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we're getting there.
Hour and a, okay. Well, let's recap one thing, because this is Andrew and I were discussing this, and for me it's a pretty big deal. But
Okay.
you know, I've been sober for 12 days now,
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. I've been sober for 12 days as well.
and Andrew's been sober for 12 days as well.
Congratulations.
And we're just about the mid month mark. I don't know if you guys recall in the last podcast, I told everyone that Andrew and I were going through this hiatus from alcohol and amongst other things, but you know, we're not
Hold
going to
on,
drink
let me
alcohol.
go through the list of all the things.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
go ahead,
doing
go ahead,
right
go
now.
ahead.
So I'm not intaking any caffeine, alcohol, refined sugars, nicotine, and those are the main four.
So basically, you know that little button next to the power button on your computer that says reset? That's what Andrew's doing right now to his
Yeah,
body.
that's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing. Oh, and your IF also.
Oh yeah, I'm intermittent fasting as well. So for 20 hours a day.
So I am not doing any of that. I am just not drinking alcohol. Again, not saying that I drink a lot, but it's just on the weekends, and the weekends are the hottest thing, because obviously I'm with the boys. You know what I'm saying? We're chilling, we're hanging out, and trust me, I wish this was a Corona, but it's not. And you know, we're getting through this right now. We're getting through this. It's a good half-month update. I think we're doing well.
Yeah. The hardest day for me was day 3, and I got past day 3, and I was like, you know what? If I got past day 3, I could just keep doing this for a while.
So we'll see, because I know Kangsan gave up again, we talked about it last week. The sweets and the pastries and all that.
How's that been going for you?
Yeah, I haven't really eaten any sweets or anything. So, I mean, there's moments where I really hanker for one, but I've kind of done this sort of diet or restrictions to my diet before, so it isn't out of the blue or it isn't out of the ordinary for me. So it's just a little exercise and willpower.
Willpower. That's what we'll take away from this.
Yeah, I gave up so much stuff because I didn't want my willpower to move on to one other thing. Because I know myself, and if it was one thing, then it'd be another thing. So I didn't leave any room for leeway.
I don't even know why I'm doing this.
Solidarity.
You're gonna live a little bit longer because of that.
Yeah, I added a couple days onto my life, so you know, thanks myself for that.
That could be the difference, man. You never know.
Yeah, you never know that one extra day could. allow me to put myself into a robot and
outrace cheetahs.
and outrace cheetahs. So don't go into safaris. Don't get out of the car. Kangsan, where can they find you?
Same spot at NASGNAK across all social media platforms. Got a few things coming up on my blog at kangsankim.com.
Andrew, where can they find you? Boy number 3.
I'm on Instagram. It's Atalane, ITSATALAIN.
Cool. You know where to find me. Twitter and Insta baby _Germund. I checked at Germund still with that one dude, so I ain't got it yet. But yeah, check Kangsan out on Instagram and Twitter. Check Andrew out. Check us all out. And thanks again for watching. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter.